Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video that's a little bit different. I wanted to talk about when you should start wearing makeup, what kind of makeup you should wear, and how to apply makeup whenever you're starting out. And so I asked some of my friends on Facebook what ages they thought were appropriate for girls to start wearing makeup, and I got like 50 comments about what they think is appropriate and everything. So I sort of deduced from that and what my experience was, and came up with sort of a rough estimate of when girls should start wearing what kind of makeup. Now, I just want to say some families and some girls are completely different. Some parents don't think girls should wear makeup until they're 16, and some girls start wearing makeup when they're 8. And there's, like, everyone is different, every parent is different, and so if you're not interested in makeup and you're 14, that's totally fine. And if you are 10 years old and interested in makeup but your parents want you to wait, then just listen to them. Personally, I think that wearing makeup is wonderful. I think it is a great way for girls to learn how to highlight their natural beauty, especially if it's done correctly. One of the biggest mistakes I see with young girls is that they're trying to figure out how to do makeup and they don't know what they're doing. They're just trying to do their best and it looks a little bit silly. And that's exactly how I was, and I wish that I could have had someone sit down and tell me exactly how to apply the things I was allowed to wear correctly. And so like I said, these age ranges are just rough estimates. This is what I gathered from my friends and sort of what I thought was age appropriate. But obviously this is completely different for everybody. If you have really bad acne, you're going to wear foundation younger than somebody else that has clear skin. And so don't think that this is the only way to do things. There's a variety of right ways to do things. So the first age range is going to be 12 to 13. Now what I deduced from my friends on Facebook and just from my own experience and what I think is best, I think starting out with lip gloss, mascara, and blush between ages 12 and 13 is the best way to start out. Before we jump into the makeup things, I wanted to quickly, before I forget, talk about your skin. It's so important to take care of your skin, especially at this age whenever your skin is changing, you're breaking out, all these things. It is so important to wash your face and to moisturize. And so take your makeup off at night and then cleanse your skin and then put a moisturizer on, and then in the morning cleanse your face again and put moisturizer on. And then I also think that morning and night you should be putting on some sort of lip balm to keep your lips hydrated. I also think drinking water will help so much with a lot of acne problems and any other problems with your skin or with your lips. That will help so much in preventing a lot of problems that you're going to try to fix with makeup. So now I'm going to scoot you guys in a little bit so that we can sort of get a closer look at how to apply these things. So the first thing is lip gloss. I'm just going to take, this is from Bon Bell in the shade Strawberry, and I'm just going to take this and put it on my lips. This is a really great way to start out wearing makeup because it's not very pigmented, so if you go outside the lines, you're not going to mess up. If it smudges, it's not going to be a big deal, but it adds a little bit of shine or sparkle to your lips, which can really highlight your face a little bit and bring color to your face. Okay, for blush, there really are a bunch of different brushes you can use. I like to use an angled brush because for me it makes it easier to sort of sweep it back, but you really can use whatever you want. I know starting out with makeup you don't have a lot of options. Sometimes you don't have all the brushes that you want, and your parents don't think it's always necessary to buy all the new things, which is definitely true. And so just use whatever kind of face brush you have, and I just sort of stamp this in the color a little bit. And then I focus this on the apples of my cheeks and drag it back a little bit. So tap into your blush and dust it off a little bit because you don't want to look like a clown. And then sort of smile a little bit and start down here and sweep it back. And there you go, super simple and super easy. And the last thing is mascara. This is the Maybelline Falsies Volume Express mascara. This is my favorite for starting out because it's super easy to apply and it goes on really quickly, and so you don't spend a lot of time trying to apply it to your eyelashes. I find that whenever I spend a lot of time applying my mascara, I'm more likely to get it on my lid and right here. I like jab myself right here all the time. And you're also less likely to poke yourself in the eye, which does not feel good. So with this brush, it's shaped a little bit differently. As you can see, it's more rounded on the top. So I just sort of keep that part on top And how you apply mascara is you just you keep your eyes open if you're comfortable, and start as close to your eye as you can and zigzag and go up without hitting your eyelid. This will take a little bit of practice if you've never done it before. So just zigzag and go up. And you can just leave it with one coat, or you can dip back in and then apply another coat. And you just do the same thing, sort of zigzag. And so I'm going to go ahead and apply it to my other eye. Okay, so that is it for the 12 to 13 age range. I think this is great because you've got some color on your cheeks, you've got some lip gloss on, and you've got a little bit of mascara. So this is great if you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of things you need to hide or worry about yet. The next age range is from about 14 to 15 or so. And so for that, I thought we would do eyeshadow, light eyeshadow, and concealer. So next is concealer. If you have any blemishes or anything, luckily I have some right now so you can see what I'm talking about. I've got sort of some right here and underneath my nose, and one right here. So if you're wanting to cover up your blemishes, I would just use a concealer. You can use something like the Maybelline Fit Me or something else cheap and that's full coverage, and you can just sort of dot this on your trouble areas and then just blend it in with your finger. You also can start concealing under your eyes at this point if, again, you don't want to do the full face, but you also have dark circles under your eyes. So I would just pick up a concealer that's a few shades lighter than what you think your skin is, and just apply it under your eyes and blend it in to cover up any dark circles. So just start with your ring finger. Your ring finger is good because it doesn't apply as much pressure as your other fingers do, but you can still be deliberate with it. So apply that underneath your eyes with your ring finger and just sort of, again, tap it and blend it out. If you like pressed powder, I would use the Rimmel Stay Matte powder, and if you are looking for a loose powder, then I would go with the Coty Airspun powder. Both of those are really inexpensive, and they're great for setting your makeup. So the reason you set your under eye concealer is so that it doesn't crease. It might have already started creasing, but as you blink and squint and stuff, your concealer is going to start sinking into your lines and creasing, and that's not good. So a way to prevent that is to take a brush like this, or you can even use your finger if you don't have anything, or you can use a beauty blender if you have one of those, and dip it into your powder and then pat it under your eyes to set it so that it doesn't crease and look crazy. The last thing for this age range would be eyeshadow. I would start out with a shimmery eyeshadow, one because it doesn't get patchy as easily as matte eyeshadows do, and it just looks pretty. So I've got a sort of a white pink shimmery shade, and I'm just taking my ring finger again and dipping it in and placing it on my eye. So you can use a color like that, and if you'd like something a little bit darker, then you can grab more of a gold shade and just use your ring finger again and sort of tap it all over the lid. And so these are two different kind of options you can have if you're just starting out with eyeshadow and you don't want to get too crazy. Now the next age range is going to be 16 plus, and so I'm going to take off everything I have right now. That's another tip. Don't apply anything liquid over anything powder. So don't put your concealer on and then powder and then put foundation on, because anywhere that the powder and the foundation overlaps will get really patchy or cakey, and that's not a good look. So I'm going to take everything off and show you guys how to do an average 16-year-old ish makeup routine. So a lot of 16-year-olds have really good skin, and so you don't need something with a lot of coverage because there's not a lot to cover up. And so you might just want it, like I have red patches right here that I kind of like to cover up, and that's why I normally wear foundation every day, is because I have some uneven pigmentation and I like to cover that up. So for foundation, I really love to use the Bare Minerals foundation, but it is a powder, so I am going to start out with my concealer. And I'm going to go into my Bare Minerals foundation. I take the lid off, and then I grab the container and just tap it in there to get some of the product out. And then I take a big face brush and I swirl it in there, and then tap off the excess, and then just buff it into the skin. And now, even after you've applied foundation, you still might have like a pimple or something that you're wanting to cover up. And something that is also great about the Bare Minerals foundation is you can take a brush like this, just like a flat shading brush, and dip it, or even your finger, and put it into the face powder and build it up a little bit, and then just tap it on there. And it is amazing at covering up anything. I don't have a concealer that works better than this. It just makes it disappear. It's crazy. I know the Bare Minerals can be kind of expensive, and so if you're looking for a cheaper alternative, you might look into getting a BB cream from the drugstore. BB creams are great because you literally just put it on your skin and then blend it in with your fingers. It gives kind of a low coverage situation, but it still gives you some color, and it can even out your skin tone if that's what you're looking for. Also, if you are somebody that struggles with your acne or with breaking out, and you're like, I don't want any of this medium coverage business, I want full coverage to cover up everything that I have, then I would recommend this. This is the Revlon Color Stay makeup. This is the normal to dry one. Don't get the oily one because it's not good at all. I would get the normal to dry even if you have oily skin, because this will give you such full coverage. It's inexpensive. Another reason why I love this is because it's not sticky when you apply it, so you don't need to pack on powder on top of putting on a full coverage foundation. And so it's easy to apply. I would just grab, it's so dirty, so don't judge me. This is my Real Techniques Beauty Blender. I got it from the drugstore. I can't remember how much it was, like $8 I think. And so if you struggle with acne or uneven pigmentation and you need something that's more full coverage, this will be perfect for you. And I forgot to go over the list of what I'm going to cover for 16-year-olds, but that list is a light foundation, bronzer, eyeliner, fill-in brows, a little bit more intense eyeshadow, and highlight. And so I'm going to start out with bronzer next. So I like to take a big fluffy brush like this and just sort of swirl it into any bronzer, and then lightly sort of underneath where we're going to stick our blush in, like the crevice right here. You're just going to stick the brush right under there. Basically, you want to put bronzer right here on the outer part of your forehead and right underneath your cheeks, and then down your neck a little bit. Next, I'm going to apply blush again. And then we're going to do highlight. So with highlight, you can either use a small brush like this and dip it into your highlight, or you can just use a finger and apply it. But you're going to apply this right on top of your cheekbone, so that whenever you turn, you can sort of see that this part is lighter than the rest, and it will make your cheekbones pop more, which can make your face look more slender. And then you can also put a little bit of this on your nose and on your Cupid's bow. And that is all I'm going to cover for the face. Now for the eyes, we're going to do a little bit more in eyeshadow. What you can do is you can apply it the same way. Just use your finger and apply it to your lid. And then what you can do is you can take a fluffy blending brush like this, or you can even take your finger and you can go either into a sparkly brown shade or just a matte brown shade. I'll go into a matte brown shade, but you really can do matte or shimmery with this and just build it up in the outer corner. Don't go up into your crease too much. Just build it up in the outer corner. So this is a really easy way to transition from just a basic eyeshadow look to having a little bit more detail. So you have some shimmer right here and then a darker color in the outer corner and up into the crease just a tiny bit. So you just, literally what you do is you take your brush and you just do little circles and try to keep them together as much as possible. Don't go like this, just go in a little circle out here until it's blended. Okay, now next we're going to get into eyeshadow. If you are kind of afraid of using a liquid liner, then what you can do is you can start out with using a brush and some eyeshadow. So I'm just going to wet this brush. It's I'll show you guys. This is just a little angled brush and it's dampened, and I'm going to dip this into a darker eyeshadow and get it all wet, and then you can just take it. Let me use a mirror. It's hard to do this on camera. You can just start on the outer corner and then draw as close to the lash line as you can. You really want to make sure that there is no space between where your lashes start and your eyeliner. So just do a really simple little line with that. And this is an easy way to have a lot of control over your eyeliner. Now if you are wanting to move up and do a liquid liner, then I would recommend a liner with a felt tip brush because it's a lot easier to handle than something. I don't have a felt tip one right now, but I have this brush tip one, and it is a lot harder to use than a felt tip liner is. So I would recommend the Maybelline Line Stiletto eyeliner, and that's at the drugstore. I think it's like $7. That's my favorite felt tip eyeliner that I found at the drugstore. So if you want to use a felt tip or a brush tip eyeliner, I would actually start on the opposite side. I would start at the beginning of your eyelid. Get as close to the lash line as you can so you don't have a white line underneath your eyeliner and then your lashes. And then just brush it back. This will take a little bit of practice. And then if you need to turn it around to get the corner, then do that. And those are two ways you can do eyeliner. Now I'm going to put on some mascara real quick and then I'll show you guys how to do brows. Okay, I'm back. So for brows, I'm just going to use the same angled brush. I just cleaned it off. And I'm going to show you a trick that I learned whenever I was younger. So it's a little bit daunting to get a dark color that's the same color of your eyebrows and fill in your brows perfectly the first time without making them look too dark and without messing up and getting everywhere. So I would recommend, if you're starting out learning how to do your brows, is getting a really light color. If you have dark brows, maybe get like a blonde brow product, or if you like powder, I think powder is so much easier to clean up and fix. I think it's simpler to just use an eyeshadow. That's what I do to this day, is I love dipping my angled brush into an eyeshadow. And so if you're starting out, I would recommend getting a lighter color like this. This is in one of the Milani eyeshadow palettes. And this is just a really light brown, and as you can tell, it is not my brow color, but it will make the skin under your brows look darker than the skin around it. And so as you're learning, this is a good way to start applying brows without it getting too crazy and too dark. So I'm just tapping my brush in here. So I'm going to start right here at the peak of my brow, because you want this part to be the darkest part and you want this part to be the lightest part. I'm just going to apply this right on my brow and start filling them in. And then start coming in, and I'm just doing little brush strokes. And as you can see, even though I'm applying a lot, it's not making my brows really, really dark. And so you can really experiment whenever you're using a lighter color. Lastly, I'm going to apply some lip gloss like we did at the beginning. And there you have it. These are some of my tips for young girls that are starting to wear makeup. I hope that you guys like this video. If you are already wearing makeup, then comment down below with what age you were sort of allowed to start wearing makeup and any tips that you might have for girls that are just starting out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!